Hi friends, Mindy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on a couple of the altered cards for the Full Deck Challenge, which is hosted by Shana at Shanuki Art. I will try to remember to link her channel down in the description if you are interested in more information about this, but in essence, every week there's an underlying challenge to do kind of a mini collage. That's the whole point of these little cards. I am working on Project Life cards instead of playing cards because I've mentioned this in previous videos. I'm just trying to use up some of my cards. And so I'm starting out with doing a little mini collage with some vintage book paper and some vintage ledger and some different things here. I'm going to glue those down in the background here. And the prompt for week 24 is thread, and my carryover item is going to be the Tim Holtz ephemera. That's what I showed at the beginning. So my card from last week had some Tim Holtz ephemera, and so I'm going to be pulling some of that into this card. And my word is my constant item because these cards coordinate with my Word Study Wednesday videos that I've been doing. I'm just several weeks behind on getting these cards done. And so I'm going to try to play catch up here a little bit. And so I'm going to do 2 today and try to get some other ones caught up. I've shared some over on Instagram as well, if you have seen those reels. But anyway, I'm just starting off with gluing all of these little pieces down. And I will tell you, when I was recording the voiceover for this, I realized that I totally forgot the actual prompt for this particular card, which was the thread. And so you won't see it on this card in the process video, but if you stick to the end, I will have a close-up picture where you can see how I kind of fixed that very quickly so that I could actually have the prompt in the end. It wouldn't be the end, the end of the world. But anyway, so what you've seen me do here, I have some of the Tim Holtz ephemera. I have this one piece that I want to use. It's a little bit too large for my card. It just covers up too much of the background. So I did trim it off a little bit. And then I'm going to go through here now and try and just kind of decide which pieces I want to live where on this little card. This I went back and forth with this. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the green postage stamps or the red one, or anyway, some of it is just kind of a little bit fiddly, so I'll save you watching that whole process. But I'm going to start with gluing down this card with the roses on it, and I'm doing that kind of off center over to the left. And then my constant item, like I said, is the word. So that's one of the things I'm going to add here. I use that with a Dynamo label maker. And my word for this week is meek. And so I'm just going to kind of tuck that over on the left side. I decided to go ahead and use the green stamps and then have a little red piece of ephemera here as well. And then there's a piece of paper over on the left. It's actually a piece of that ledger that it's crooked. And so it's kind of making me crazy. So I'm actually going to glue this little piece of red ephemera right over it to just cover it up. In the end, I actually really like how that looks there. Just kind of helps to balance out all of those colors. And then I'm going to ink around the whole thing with archival ink and ground espresso. Like I said, there will be a close-up photo at the end of this. And then moving on to week 25, I'm going to carry over this vintage ledger. And the prompt for this week is 2 favorite colors. And my 2 favorite colors are purple and teal. And so I am going to be using a few of these things. I have a couple different ideas. That ledger paper is one that I had that just was from another project, and I saved it because I love the beautiful colors of it. And then this is an old 49 and Market collection, and I absolutely love the purple and teal and green in this. And so that's what I'm going to be using for today, are these die cut pieces. And so I'm trying to decide which part of this ledger I want to use, really to kind of keep most of it to the purple and the teal, because there was some brighter pink as well in there. And then I'm just pulling out some items that will coordinate. So my card that I'm using, my Project Life card, is actually a light teal. It's kind of hard to tell the true colors of these on camera, but and so I'm just kind of rehearsing everything here in the way that I think that it's going to go. I love that purple label up at the top, and I have that stamp, which is actually my carryover item. So I used a stamp last card with the Tim Holtz stamp, and I'm going to use it on this one too. I kind of went back and forth between, because it's not actually technically the ledger, the same ledger that I used last week. So I don't know. I'm such a rule follower. I wasn't sure which way I should go. So I guess I kind of have 2 carryover items. So I did the ledger paper and the postage stamp, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to glue this down, and I want this to wrap around the edges. I just like that look for some of these pieces. And so this paper is pretty thick ledger paper actually. And so I'm using my liquid adhesive here instead of using my glue stick, but, and then I'll just wrap this around to the back side. And the back side is where I write out the verse for this week, where the word came from. And also I list the prompt and everything. So I don't need this back part to be, you know, super beautiful. I may put a piece of paper over the back of it later on as well. But, and then this is one of those big pieces, and I just really loved having this as kind of a focal image, and it was just a little too big. I thought about leaving it so that it was just kind of hanging off, but there was just too much of it for the little storage box that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to actually end up trimming down this so that it's flush with the card. Sometimes it's fun to have things hanging off of the edge. I really do like that look. But for this instance, I was going to start with just trimming off the bottom so that it would sit flat in the my storage box. But in the end, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and trim all of these pieces off. And I actually really like how that looks at the end. And then this postage stamp, there's actually two sizes of that in these die cuts. And so I went with the smaller one because it's just a better size for this card. And then I'm actually using one of those little offcuts to create a little cluster up here with the butterfly and that postage stamp. And I am actually covering the word. It says captured on it, but I just didn't want it competing with my word, which was joy for this particular week. So I just covered that up with the little wing of the butterfly. So I'm just creating a little cluster here, adding a little bit of glue to hold everything together, and then I will glue this down as one piece. And then I wasn't sure if I really needed more of a focal image, but I really just love those flowers the way that they are. So I thought about pulling in some more butterflies. You'll see me actually pull them in and try to see if I can get them to work over there. But in the end, I really just liked this look as it is. And so sometimes I just keep them a little bit more simple, and that is fine with me. And so I am going to ink this one actually with archival ink, but in black soot for just a little bit of balance from that black Dymo label maker. And then that will be it for this week for week 25. I will try to get these caught up soon, but if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also, I will have my links for my website and my Facebook group. I'd love to have you over there, as well as all of my affiliate links. They'll all be in the description. And until next time, bye.